Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to kliqthistv.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
All right, this has been Kliq This 201. It's a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with... Was that too fast? Maybe that was too fast. Maybe we should slow down and tell everyone, welcome to episode 201. Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. I'm Sean. He's Kev. He's Kev remote. He's remote Kev.
I'm
again.
remote.
How's it going? You were in some traffic. We talked earlier.
Well,
You called it Detroit traffic. Now that's different from.
Yeah, because I came from the west side of the state, and you merge in from 69 into 75. As soon as you hit 75, it's a whole different world.
Mm.
And if you recall when I talked to you, it was right like 15 to 5. So
Rush
it's 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's rush hour. So,
Yeah.
and I'm north of the city, and the city is, I want to think the metropolitan area is around 4.5 million. So, I mean, it was.
Mm. Yep, that's the real deal. That's our metro. Those are our metro areas when you want to enjoy the big city life. It's the price you pay.
Yeah, but I was
out the wallet.
a couple hours earlier. I was on the shores of Lake Michigan. So,
which in video, it was sunny. You know, you see the blue water. I'm like, wow, you got some nice weather up there. Kev's like, it's 40. It's 40.
No, it was like 47. But that, I don't know what that water, that lake water's, man. Whew.
Yeah.
This early in the year.
Yep.
So we went to the TULIP festival, and all the tulips. What are they called? They sprout. They do something. They bud. They bud first, and then they flower. And they budded, and then it dropped to like 22 degrees for like 2 days at night, and it killed like half of the tulips.
I was going to say, do they just die when they?
Yeah,
they
just
like that?
yeah.
Wow.
It looked like I was, Chernobyl at the fucking tulip festival.
Yeah.
So,
Or
the hardy ones, some of the bigger, like some of the bigger, one was called like a scarlet something. It was a big red thing. Those seemed to do well, but anything that was multicolored was just looked like shit.
Yeah. How about the food? Did you hit anything? Anything since being back up there? Did you hit anything interesting? Anything you were longing for?
Let's see. No, it's just food. Cameras. Let me see if we had anything. Oh,
a steak.
We went to the zoo on Monday, and I went into Royal Oak, and there's a little sushi place there, so I had sushi. It was good.
Okay. Was this where the Red Panda action was happening?
Yes, Red Panda. We saw a red panda on the top of a 70-foot evergreen tree, burrowed against the the base of the tree that you could, but his tail was hanging down. So that was that was our red panda experience.
How about
But they
Panda
had
Energy? Were they involved in any way?
Panda Energy was not, but there was one of the lions gave birth to 3 cubs. So that was cool because they were right next to the glass. The tigers were out and moving around. The rhinos were moving. Giraffes were active. Zebras. It was actually the apes were pretty. The great apes were. Chimpanzees weren't too active. There was a couple of mess. I mean, Detroit's got to. I'll tell you one thing: you get your fucking steps in.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
the
mean,
thing about the
fuck.
zoo. Also, it's kind of a crapshoot as to whether anything's going to be visible or
Right.
anything interesting is going to be happening. You know, it's like any other sporting event. Could be a shitty game, and you know, that's the day you got tickets for. So
Yeah. No. I mean,
yeah.
for what it was, and it exceeded my expectations of an enjoyable day.
All right. Well, sometimes that's like.
And then we got a chance. We left there and went and had dinner, and then I saw my sister, my sister-in-law, my aunt, and then the next day. What did we do the next day? We do Tuesday.
How's your aunt in the nursing facility doing? Is she?
Oh, she's been on. She's on the last detail right now. We busted her out on Monday. She's been with us.
But is she?
My mother-in-law
just okay with it.
My mother. What do you mean? Yeah, she's cool.
Adapting. Is she adapting okay up there?
No, she's the first. We were up at the in Holland, Michigan, and we're sitting there. The king or whoever the fuck over in Holland sent an actual windmill, and they sent it like numbered and everything else, and they put it together in Holland, Michigan. But they built the base of it. You can tell. I mean, I walked up to it. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, but I walked right up to it, and Tamara looked at me. She goes, so that whole thing, and I looked, I said, no. I said, that's Michigan brick on the bottom. So I asked the lady that's there, they're all got the wooden shoes on and shit. They're trying to make the experience like you're in Holland. And I said, so this bottom part here, this is all made by who? She goes, it was made in 65. She goes, it had to be finished by 68. The top of it came in 67. They had to put it together because whoever the Dutch dignitary that sent it was coming to kind of do the christening, so they had to put it together. And so I walked in, and there's these rickety stairs, and she says, before anyone starts up the stairs, the 5th floor is not open to the public. I said, well, fuck it. If the 5th floor is not open, I'm not even going up any steps. So me and my aunt went outside and sat down while everybody else went up, because you could, from I guess the 3rd floor had like the observatory of the windmill, like where it has like a deck or whatever on it. And so I asked my aunt, I said, between you and I said, how are things? She goes, I miss my fucking house. Wish I could drive my fucking car. I can't go anywhere. But besides that, everything's just peachy. And I was just like, okay. I said, how are the people? She goes, honestly, she says, there's I actually have some friends. She said that. Right. She said, and she said, and one thing she says, a couple of them have a really good sense of humor. She goes, I laugh. She goes, I do laugh. I said, well, better than sitting in your crib by yourself, right? She said,
Yeah.
yeah. She said, it is, but it's not, because I said, "Eh, Auntie, you can't fucking drive because you can't see. You've got neuropathy in your feet. You can't, like, you're going to kill." I said, would you rather have your freedom and kill someone, or just like chill where you're at? I said, because everybody comes, like your family comes and spend, like nobody, when people come in that place, they're like, "You're here for Sheena?" Like she's got she's got a, and they want them in by 8. And, we bring her in midnight. And, to fuck with us, they act like they don't hear the buzzer, so they let us sit out in the cold with her before they buzz us into the building.
That's
So
douche.
yeah,
Well,
it is disruptive, because we should have smarted on my mother-in-law, because the first night we went out to eat. My mother-in-law wasn't informed that she's on a 2-glass of wine limit. So my mother-in-law's down there fucking free pouring my aunt, and we're watching the basketball game, not paying attention. Next thing you know, it's like we basically had to pour her into her place. So, oh well.
Well, I'm glad everything's going well.
Yeah. Tomorrow I drive to Niagara Falls. So got that going for me.
Now, neither you nor your aunt nor your wife or mother-in-law were contacted about taking any pay cuts as much as 50% on any of your earnings, right? Because I know a lot of people are being contacted for that in the last couple of days. I want to make sure your family hasn't been.
No, we were more worried to make sure that the hierarchy got their bonuses.
Well,
so,
Ari's pay swelled 272% when all was said and done, from 18 million last year to 67 this year. Mark Shapiro's up 33%.
Oh, we covered this we covered this last episode.
You covered Ari. We covered Ari, and then
we
covered Nick.
No,
we covered Nick.
Nick, no, but I mean we pretty much, but that was before we found out that they were gonna.
Yes. That's my point. That in light of those phone calls having been made,
so TKO now is. I find you should know this, with your wife's involvement and your love for Brock. They're actually, TKO's doing an off-Broadway production with some of the 50% talent of Oliver, and so
with actual ragged clothing.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
More, please. Could I have some more, please? Take the 50%.
So this is all just a big operation to move to Broadway. That's all.
That's it. And if you make the Broadway show, of course you're bonused. Then if you can learn Farsi and do it and do the and take the show actually off Broadway and into the desert of Saudi Arabia. Big money.
Usually they'll open in London in the West End before coming to Broadway to see how it plays with a sophisticated audience. It's just Riyadh now. They'll open there.
Well, they actually said they were going to start it in Vegas, since they've had such success there. They're just going to continue beating that fucking horse. So
in the Sphere, perhaps.
Yeah. That'd be kind of
the last reporting on this I saw, Kev, Meltzer was saying that there are people signing the deal. There are people taking it. I'm looking for specifics. I don't see.
Okay, so
though
I looked at this entire situation, and before, I mean, what was Riley's old thing that he used to say when he was on Fox? Fair and honest, or whatever it was.
Oh, fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. So we're gonna bring back the Riley. So we got to be fair and balanced on this. We can't. So we now have 0, as in no live events. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody like Kevin Nash that worked, I'm just going to pick the lovely 300 number. So somebody like Kevin Nash, who was gone from his wife for 300 days, and now you're telling me that I've got to be gone 52. Okay. 52, and I guess whatever. Let's just make it an even 80 because they have so many fucking pay-per-view gizmos. So it's eight. So if I was making 10 million and I was working 300 shots, and you told me that I will give you 5 million to work 80 shots.
Mm-hmm.
See, now it's a different. Now the mathing works.
This is a good point, though, what you're mentioning, because what's going to be reported is the pay. What might be less reported are the obligations. So are they moving in concert? Are they moving in step? Because that would be a different thing. Could they also, question for you, knowing how these companies structure these things, could they say something to you, Kev? We do need to cut, and we do want you to take the cut. However, there's an opportunity to maximize some marketing here. If we can give you 2 new shirts and a figure this year, hopefully.
No, because I think that those guys, that's not going to affect their downside. You're not going to make that. You're not going to make that. You're not going to fucking make you would be lucky. Cody sells a ton of merch. There's a couple of guys that sell merch, but you're talking even at a 50-50 split, you'd be having to sell net $5 million merchandise to get 2.5. That's a lot of fucking merch. Right. So that's not no. What it is the business has changed now. Or you can look at it. Say if I became a character, and I was old school Louis, and I was one of the boys, and they came at me and they said, "Hey, old school Louis, we're gonna cut your pay 50%." And I say, "The fuck you are! Just because you fucking guys are business guys, and you think that all the business are run the same, you guys are fucking tanked on this one. Sorry. Everybody thinks that fucking this business is like the circus, and this business is like business. It's like no other. And if you get in it, you don't fucking know it before you get in it. There is no learning curve. Go fuck yourself. I want all my money." That's that old school Louis.
Are these guys old school Louis? I don't know if they're old. If these cats are old school Louis, dude.
No, I'm talking. The old school Louis was talking to the TKO guys.
Right, but I'm saying, do you think this talent would stand up?
I have a feeling, and I mean this is just a feeling, that I saw some different. I'm very, very sparsely informed this week, on what's going on in the world. I did not get a chance to see the program. Everything I'm getting is through texting from friends, because most times my phone has been in my briefcase in the back of a Chrysler Pacifica minivan, because the only person I need to talk to is sitting next to me. So I'm really not. I don't even know what Berkshire Hathaway is trading for.
All right, Kev, we talk a lot of basketball here. You were center yourself, so we talk about the power moves, right? Power moves on the court. Here's a power move for you. Hiring the world's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. That's a power move, okay? America's largest injury law firm. Over 100 offices nationwide, more than 1,000 lawyers with over $30 billion, that's a B, recovered for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record. They fight to get you your fair and full compensation. In Florida, a client recently received $6.1 million. If they'd taken their insurance company's best offer, would have been $100,000. Think about that. All right. In Georgia, another client just got $29.5 million. And in Nashville, another client was awarded $10.6 million. No one wants to be hurt at the hand of someone else. But you know what? If you're in that situation and you're forced into that corner, you want someone like Morgan & Morgan fighting for you. Okay. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free. Do that 3 times. Their fee is free unless they win. Okay, so for more information, you go to forthepeople.com/Kliq, Kliq, or just dial pound law, LAW, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's FOR thepeople.com/Kliq, Kliq, or pound law, LAW. That's pound 529. This is a paid advertisement for the badasses at Morgan & Morgan. Well, one of the stories that you wouldn't have seen with your phone in the trunk is that Roman Reigns no longer appears on the June schedule, and people were starting to speculate.
I did see that was sent to me, that was shared to me, and it said, and we're talking about, okay, so let's put the pieces of the puzzle together, so it's like the game
Agatha
Clue.
Christie action.
Yeah,
right here.
We'll do a little clue.
Nash in the study with his prick.
Yeah. So Nash in the study with my urethra over your head like a toboggan.
Correct.
So I'm so proficient that I just got a 300% pay increase, yet somehow somebody underneath me has, and I think the term that I read in the article was, the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And somebody booked Roman Reigns for the June dates, but in essence, he wasn't actually booked for the June dates. But this in no way indicates any animosity or problems between TKO and said athlete Roman Reigns. I said, oh, shit.
Well,
Bullshit.
You're correct. You're correct. That's what they're saying. They're saying
That's what they're saying.
He's not booked. He's not booked for the Saudi Arabia PLE in late June. So, quote, there's no creative necessity to feature him on TV at all that month. When have you ever seen
the champion,
a top guy, a champion?
No, not just a top guy, the champion. The champion yes.
Now.
Yes.
Who knows
yes.
in June? Just because they're not doing one pay-per-view, not appear on television at all for a month.
But this is that new wrestling. See this.
Is the bad wrestling or the new wrestling?
I just want to say this. So you've got this guy whose title is basically he's in charge of creative. Okay, so the backstory is that this company was bought from a man named Vince McMahon by TKO. Vince McMahon, if you don't know anything about him, was a fairly successful professional wrestling promoter. That would be a fair observation, right?
Yeah.
Kind of knew what he was doing a little bit, right? But maybe a little bit.
That's the horse you would have wanted to have been on if you were a wrestler.
Yeah.
In the 80s, 90s.
Yeah. So this Levesque character, he says, "Hey, I got an idea. I'm going to go down to Orlando. I'm going to start like this training center because I've come to the realization that this is like no other business. Hint, hint, people that listen up. Hint, hint, like no other business. And it's not filmed, produced like any other business. Therefore, not only am I going to teach the talent the way that I want to teach them and a system that I want to build, but I'm also going to teach everybody in the truck, everybody on handhelds, everybody on cameras, everybody that has anything to do with this process. I'm going to teach them the way I want it to be done. I'm going to call it NXT. It will be a black and gold logoed product." And Vince said, "You're my son-in-law, have at it." So this gentleman goes down there and without any direction besides his own, goes down, books, produces. First off, starts the genesis of the entire thing. And lo and behold, before you know it, NXT becomes the darling because AEW doesn't exist. NXT is the darling of the hardcore wrestling fans and a great deal of the casual wrestling fans. Yeah. So this Levesque guy seems to have his shit pretty fucking tight. Like real fucking tight. And then this TKO group comes in and they buy out the McMahon character and they take over, and Vince kind of makes a power play, and next thing you know, he's back in it, and then he's not, and then all of a sudden this Levesque guy takes over, and everybody loves the direction that this Levesque guy is carrying the new flagship WWE program into the Netflix era. And then lo and behold, like every other fucking business on earth, the fucking guys above them that don't have a fucking clue besides get paid more and fucking are higher up on the fucking food chain decide to start sticking their dicks where they don't need to. We're going to fucking throw this guy in, and let's put this guy in. And hey, how about him in the main event? What if we throw this guy in? Why would we throw that guy in? Because we got a fucking $500 billion deal that this guy's fucking locked into, and this is why he's here. While we're at it, let's make the fucking arena look like a NASCAR. But it doesn't take anything away from Paul Levesque, because Paul Levesque still knows what the fuck he's doing. So if anybody out there just seems to be, maybe thinks that this might be applying to them, how about leaving the fucking company alone? Get your fucking noses out of creative. Go fuck yourselves. Let Paul run the fucking company. You guys want to cut the talent. You guys don't fucking throw it in Paul's lap. Don't make him be the bad guy. Don't tell me, give me 6 years of creative process and give it to me by Wednesday. And if I don't see a certain guy's name on there, I'm going to cut it by 50%. How about just go fuck yourself? How about you grow a set of fucking balls and you walk in and you tell them that because the UFC's fucking bleeding fucking through every tourniquet that they have, we're going to cut fucking people off of the fucking WWE to stop the bleeding from the other company you bought. Because the UFC's hemorrhaging fucking money and fucking WWE isn't. How about we just tell the truth? But then again, that's all hearsay. And
well, apparently what happened was a creative was approached, and the extent of their decision making with this was just to provide, like you said, a list of what their plans were. And from that, they culled names, and those names that were not, the report said not, well, I don't want to misquote it, but so I'm going to say I am paraphrasing, but we're not used intensely in those plans, were approached to have their salaries reduced. Yes.
So,
but though, he's going to get, WWE Creative is going to be falling on the sword here.
Well, of course, but so the one thing is that you have to always put into consideration is the chance of somebody getting hurt doing this sports entertainment fucking shit is zero. I mean, the fucking mat's a trampoline, shit's fucking it's pre-laid out. If yeah, they send guys to Birmingham, but it's fake operations. They really don't get shit done. They just make them walk around their house with a fucking sling on, and they cuss their wives, and some of them get addicted to fucking pills. But it's all bullshit. It's storylines later on, but because everybody knows it's, say, a Detroit Lions fan, that we didn't end up at the end of the fucking year having 3 guys from the fucking practice field in the fucking defense. That could never happen. But, when at the beginning of the season, when we were going through fucking 2-a-days and fucking no pads, well, yeah, we only needed fucking 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense. But once we put the pads on, and then once we played game 1, and one of the fucking cornerbacks fucking got knocked out, lo and behold, oh shit, we need another guy. Well, take one of those 50% guys. No, 50% guy says, yeah, 50% guy says go fuck yourself.
But the other thing, Kev, that happens too, not just through injury, but just what's happening now in May, though you think you've got the plan through June, somebody might get a pop on TV. Something might happen on TV, and you go, you know what? Can we move him or her here? Let's move them off SmackDown. Let's get them on Raw and see if we get the same. You don't get to play like that. You don't get to experiment. You don't get to see what the potential somebody has if just because they were not actively involved in your current booking ideas and they were offered 50% and flipped you the bird and went to AEW, you don't get that opportunity now. So a lot of the booker's magic, the art, that creativity of moving people around, that you kind of get taken out at the knees from being able to do any of that too. I would imagine. True?
I think it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure eventually some of these names will come to the forefront.
Well, the fact is you've already fucking picked fucking the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm reading something on Instagram 2 weeks ago, and the argument was, is Kofi Kingston the greatest black wrestler of all time? And they said, well, they gave all the accolades, and they talked about, and the guy really hadn't seen Big Cat work, but it was like Ron Simmons was the first black champion, and that was while I was at WCW my first time, and there was different guys that came along, but then they didn't like the way that the Farouk character, and they were talking with, and Kofi kept coming up with a lot of people saying that, you know, Kofi could conceivably be the greatest black wrestler of all time.
Mhm.
And the next thing I hear is that they've both been asked to take a 50% pay cut. So obviously those guys at TKO didn't have the same sentiment. I don't know.
Don't know their history of black wrestlers. Kev, is there a fan backlash? Does this hurt WWE numbers, or are fans so fervent it doesn't matter what you do to the talent?
I would hurt it's the opposite. I would hope it's the opposite. I would hope they would look at it and go, you like, if you this isn't Kimmel.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to they're not trying to fire anybody. They're just trying to make financial adjustments to make the numbers work. It's kind of like the $30 billion that the U.S. sends to Israel every year for no reason. They just send $30 billion to Israel, and then the Israelis get free medical and free college. It's kind of like that. It just happens, and if some poor kid's got to pay a college fucking loan the rest of his fucking life in America, hey, fucking what? That shit just happens, right? What do I know? What do I know?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
$30 billion. Why not to make it 31 so we can have an absolutely wonderful ballroom?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if fans. I don't know how fans think as far as that. You know, you vote with your dollar, right? It's ultimately always up to the fans. Movies, whatever we're talking about. If you're going to buy it, you're going to watch it. You're supporting it. So
I would hope that you would support. I would hope you would support my friend Triple H. And if something happens and Triple H is no longer in the helm, that there's some kind of a power play, and I hope that you would follow my lead, because the minute they fuck with him, I'll have nothing to do with that product the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, it's I hope it's made abundantly clear if this does happen, if there is some kind of backlash, no pun intended, and fans do
this
kind of
this could be
mobilize.
this could be one of those times where this whole 1099 thing finally fucking just, it's not this. Take it out of the fucking back of the come on, bring the folders out, bring them all out. Jesse, come on. You said that you said on the Hulk's thing, your ear is over. It's not. You're still, Jesse, come here. We need you, Jesse. Jesse, tell them how you were going to do it. Tell them how you were going to unionize. Go to SAG. Get a bunch of guys together. Take one of the programs that's written down, and you tell me that program isn't more heavily written and more produced than the Curb Your Enthusiasm was, when all those actors that went on that show got SAG pay.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys go and see if you can get unionized? Go through Screen Actors Guild. They'll be more than happy to take their fucking cut of your money. It won't be 50%, but it'll change the ball game. And if one thing Endeavor does know, because it's all Endeavor's deal, Endeavor knows that game.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's their home run. So if they're so good at that game, let the boys play by those rules. You know the game. You can't have it both ways. You can't play Endeavor at the fucking top with the 300% increases and fucking 1099 the dock workers that are fucking Brad Pitt and fucking Pacino. Can't do both.
And in the term sports entertainment, you've got two industries in that term that both have very strong unions for the players and the performers, right?
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd definitely take the collective bargaining agreement of any of the. I don't know. Hockey might not be as strong because their TVs aren't, but I mean, I'll take the NBA's collective bargaining, especially the profit sharing from the clubs, which I think the NBA players get 55% of the profits of the club, and the owner gets 45.
Right.
I'll take those odds.
Yeah, that was a brilliant negotiation. Everyone sitting in those boxes isn't coming to watch the owner.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, no, it makes sense. Well, we'll see where it goes, Kev. Some feedback from last week. Trust number 1 was watching. He said, I binged last night and I'm conflicted. Wish it was more. Oh, he's talking about the Hogan show. Wish it was more of his life as Terry and not all Hulk. But it might be true that Terry didn't exist anymore and it was only Hulk. I think it was Werner Herzog that had the quote where, were you talking to Hulk? Were you talking to Terry? Was there a distinction there, Kev, or was he one of the cats that kind of became the character, or the character swallowed the man?
It's like anything else. You can only make that statement if you don't know the human.
Right.
But Kevin Nash knows the human, and when he asks him when were you happiest, and Hulk, you see his eyes change, you see his demeanor change, his breathing pattern changes. I was happiest with the kids and Linda. I was happy at that point in my life. Boom. No, he was I had a friend of mine the other day, and the Hulk got so much hatred for dropping the N-bomb. He said, and this is a black friend of mine, and he said to me, he said, Kevin, I got a question to ask you. He says, how come Hogan got so much hate for that? Yeah, Mike Tyson fucking was charged with rape and went to prison, and he was forgiven. I said, I don't know, man. I said, I don't know. So,
Well,
it's
a valid question. I can't even begin to speculate.
I can't either. And when he said that to me, I said, dude, I said, I don't know, man. I said, I said, I'm white. I said, as you're asking me, I said, which is the worst to you? And he said, the dropping an M-bomb. He said, nobody's going to go to prison for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you got to realize, man, I've been with 5 women for 5 days. So I'm duding it by myself. I'm not watching. I'm watching my NBA, and I'm watching my Pistons beat that fucking ass the other night in Cleveland. But no, it's.
But otherwise, you're at the Tulip Festival.
Yeah, but I was at the beach.
With your 5 women.
Yeah, so I'm not, and I'm definitely not anywhere near the wrestling bubble.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Well, what did you hear from me the last 40 seconds? 40 minutes. How do you think that as I'm driving 250 miles a day, and they're talking and listening to the radio and stuff, and because I do drive. When I drive, I drive. That's what I do. I ain't got time to fuck around. I don't look around. I drive. And I'm thinking a lot. And I'm getting little bits and pieces of what's going on. And some of it's affecting one of my closest friends. And I'm just sitting there grinding and thinking like, motherfucker, man. And I knew. And it just, oh well.
You knew what, Kev?
I just knew that I just watched this thing just kind of start to tilt that way, start to become not wrestling and start to become, because there's no such thing as corporate wrestling. It doesn't exist.
Does there come a time where,
no, because see, when you have a corporate event, you don't want us there because we don't have filters. Somebody might ask us a question, we'll answer truthfully.
We being the talent.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah,
the boys and the ladies. Yeah, yeah. We don't play games. We might smack the dog fuck out of you.
Is there going to come a time where Paul regrets having stayed on after the merger?
Never, because that was when they came to him and offered him that position. It was offered. He was in charge. And I don't know if Paul I don't know. Well, obviously, put it this way. I can say this, and know that it's a true statement. The guys that they offer the deals to, that they now want to renege 50% of that funds. If you're wanting to renege 50% of the funds on a contract that's signed, moving forward, do you think that that's an anomaly, or do you think that's just their fucking modus?
It's going to make every contract that anyone's offered from this point forward.
I wouldn't believe a fucking word they said.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be like like me when I was a sophomore saying, fucking, swear to God, I'm just going to stick the head in.
I'm just what?
Just going to stick the head in.
Oh, yeah, just put the tip in. Right.
That's it.
Oh, let's see. We got.
Let me just put it down there, just right on your under. Just lay it on the top of your underwear.
David M. Yeah, good points from Kev. You could tell the story that nobody is strong enough to overpower Oba, but smaller, smarter, more athletic guys can wear him down. Maybe you could tell the story of someone like Carmelo Hayes being his kryptonite because he's very fast and intelligent. A way to go, Kev, away from the behemoth versus behemoth, and maybe David slays Goliath. Is that how Oba gets chopped down?
Well,
how would you book that arc?
That's always the story, isn't it? Jack and the Beanstalk, David and Goliath. That's the story.
Yeah.
I think Eric was the one that said there's like 5 stories in pro wrestling. You just tell them 250,000 different ways. And he said that to me, and it was one of those things where it just was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially when Eric would explain it to you.
Yeah. It's true. In screenwriting and writing, you hear that there's really only 10 stories that have been told since the beginning of time, and we change the scenarios a little, but the human motivation's always the same. Yeah. Hey, I heard mention Eric. I heard Eric only did Sturgis Road Wild because he couldn't get the Tulip Festival to have the big pay-per-view that year for WCW.
Too cold.
Right. That's the only problem.
So we have this thing called what is it? What is that thing called? They just had it in Daytona Beach. It's a
Jeep
big.
Week.
No, it's Rock Fest or something like that. It's not Rock Fest. It's got some other name. But I mean, the Foo Fighters were there, Guns N' Roses. I mean, they've had it like the last 2 or 3. It's only been in existence 2 or 3 years, maybe 4. I don't know. But they have.
There it
it's a
is.
speed-
Rock. Who can read that fucking logo? Rockville, is that? Rockville.
Yeah,
Welcome to
Rockville. That's it. Rockville. So I mean, look, the fucking the lineup's incredible.
Yeah.
And but they would have it in like mid-July at the racetrack, and people were it was so fucking miserable. So finally, they moved this thing up this year, and they had it this past weekend, which is great because I wasn't there.
I was gonna say, Kevin. I mean, well, there's always every weekend seems to be another event in Daytona.
Yeah, Jeep Week was the week before that. They used the speed. They used the whole speedway. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They actually have like schematics for putting like an NFL field in the middle of that. Yeah, they've got all kind of different.
Well, it's
think about
massive,
it. They use it for 24 hours of 24 hours Rolex. They use it for a couple other. They use it for the 2 NASCAR races. I mean, it's just this hulking, monstrous facility, and might as well throw the Foo Fighters out there.
Very good, JT the Game.
Yeah, hell of a place for WrestleMania.
I don't know what the city would pay. Would it be 10 million?
No, but they'd start a whole new thing where they could bring that whole RV demographic in.
They're looking now with those ticket prices. They'd be watching it from the RV, standing on it, trying to see into the stadium.
Yeah,
JT the Game. I only watch JCW every week. WWE, I don't bother most of the time. I watch TNA from time to time and tend to give AEW another chance because I liked Tony when I heard him with Coach and Vince. Also, Jericho is one of my favorites, so good time to give it a look. But yeah, there's a saturation when it comes to wrestling now.
And then I saw something that basically was doing coverage on everything that's going on and saying that there isn't enough wrestling. We need another.
I remember a time when there was a lot more saturation than this.
Yeah, they need more wrestling.
I don't need more wrestling. Do you need more wrestling, Kev?
Not at 67 years old, no.
JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. JCW Lunacy.
JJBM 4233. Why is it my two favorite wrestling podcasts, Kevin Nash and Jim Cornette? I'm from Western Canada, so I'm a huge Stampede Wrestling mark. I may be Cult of Cornette, but I want my Giants to only have so many moves. 5 is more than enough. You watch Bret Hart. Your match with Bret Hart was one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, and screw anyone that thinks different.
I appreciate that.
Fly Guy, listen, I have my thoughts about Kevin Nash, but one thing I'll give him credit for is that he does treat fans with respect. It's refreshing to hear an actual professional wrestler who gives the fans praise and credit for being grateful to him. Just don't get wrestlers today just don't get it. They want to treat fans like shit and treat us like we're creepy strangers that need help. Kind of there was some stuff online with fans getting a little aggressive at the airports after WrestleMania. Did you see any of it?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody comes up to you and they've got a cardboard with like 12 of your cards and they put it in front of you, I mean, it's as simple as there's no reason to go off on them. You just say, I'm not doing that. And then they'll say, come on, man, do one. I'll say, okay, give me $60. You can put you can sign it to me. Oh, gee, I don't ever make a mistake on an 8x10. I have no idea that you can take a drop of hand sanitizer and a Kleenex and clean that Sharpie right off of that shiny 8x. Like, come on, dudes. Like, just because you go to the Coliseum in Rome and there's everybody there trying to do their street hustle, you don't have to stop and fucking interact with them. You just fucking go. Like, if you're one of the boys, man, they're not going to grab you if you walk by them. They're not going to stand in your way. Just don't sign it. Don't let them use some kid that's 4 years old to come over. Ask them if they do that to me. I'll say, I'll sign it for you if you can name my first 3 gimmicks. Easy. He looks at me straight in the eyes, says Master Blaster, odds in Mini Vegas, I'll sign for him. If not, sorry, your dad put you up to it.
If he does that at 4, that's a kid I'm drinking with.
I don't drink
I'm
anymore.
hanging with him.
I saw that. I saw it on Instagram. A guy said, I'd like to get you, Mick, and CM Punk and get bombed and talk about the business. I'm like, wow, I know for a fact that Punk's straight. I said, Mick doesn't drink and I don't. So I think you might want to pick 3 other guys.
It's going to be a short evening.
Yeah, it's like, and this is another thing too. Is like I was going through I was scrolling and these different people have these podcasts. And it's so funny because like they'll have like a whole screen that like this thing will come up and there'll be 2 guys talking. They'll be talking about me and Punk. And, I just don't respect the fact that Nash just doesn't tell CM Punk to go fuck himself because he says he doesn't have a good body. He says this, blah 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 blah. And then you look and they've got like 3 hits, 4 subscribers. Like, okay, you can have your opinion. That's great, but I do want to say that I saw a Instagram. I told everybody that Phil was working with a guy that I know, Jay, that was getting ready for WrestleMania, and I thought Phil looked excellent for WrestleMania. And then there was an Instagram. I think Phil's dog, either I don't know if his dog passed or he wants to get a tattoo of his dog, but he was getting a tattoo of his dog underneath his the opposite. So I don't know. I think it was underneath his left rib cage. He had a spot open. He was having his dog tattooed there, and I thought like, because my dog's, my little guy's getting old, and I'm thinking like, I'd rather have a tattoo of him now than like after the fact. So I don't know. Maybe he was thinking the same thing. Like Phil's thinking like, my dog's getting old. Like, let me go ahead and enshrine him before I. But everybody, I went out of my way to say hi to Phil at WrestleMania. Like, I don't understand why people think that we never even worked against each other. Like
The other thing too, Kevin, people don't been around you guys long enough to know kind of how the business works. And it almost doesn't matter what goes on in the past, what guys say in interviews, even what happened in federations. You still shed blood, do the road, lose your families, miss your families, leave your families, and you all cry those same tears. So there's always going to be a bond that most other people don't get. And even when there's beef.
I think the only people that, unless you're like a policeman or in the service together, like there's a bond with people, especially when you put your well-being in another person's hands.
Yeah.
And you go out there night in and night out. It's just there's a bond there, and it's just like. And even though I haven't touched 90% of the guys that are in the ring wrestling wise, um, I still respect them. And 9 times out of 10, I wish I had their number so I could call them and say, "What are you fucking doing? Do not jump off the fucking like." Now my thing is going to be, you know what? You're going to end up doing something like that. They're going to end up cutting your fucking pay. So.
Listen, before you go through those tables.
Do they have any idea what that can of worms? I mean, fuck. Cutting, like, why even have contracts?
Well, you know what? As a 1099, you kind of don't.
No, because you can't tell me. Like, how about a class action lawsuit stating that? How about when they tell you that you can't go work someplace else for 90 days? You can't paint my house, Mr. Painter, but you can't paint another house either for 90 days. See how that one fucking run that one up by fucking old Thomas and his fucking RV crew.
I've always said it. I don't know how they get away with it, but it's
Well,
so many layers to it.
You know what though? When you fucking your tee shot is the compensation for the fucking hierarchy, and then fucking you hit it in the rough, and then your 9-iron approach to the fucking green is 50% pay cut. I mean, god damn. Oh fuck.
All right, the future of erectile function is here, Kevin. We've been telling the people about BLUECHEW for over 3 years now, 201 freaking episodes here, but BLUECHEW Gold is changing the way millions of men are getting it on in 2026. No more waiting for a pill to kick in here. No more moments ruined by performance anxiety. Just the results you want. Why? Because this new arousal-boosting formula in the BLUECHEW Gold combines the passion and performance into one tablet. Dissolves right under your tongue. Super fast onset now, okay? Most ED meds only focus on the blood flow to the member. No. BLUECHEW is going to go further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're in the mood. The process is simple. You're going to go to BLUECHEW.com today and go for the gold. And if you do it, you're going to get our wonderful offer. Special deal. Right now, When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third free. That's if you use promo code NASH. That's promo code NASH. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info, and we thank Blue Chew for being on the team. You know, we touched WCW a little bit, Kevin. It's worth mentioning that Ted Turner passed away today.
Oh,
Or yesterday, I guess it was, right?
yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah. And I saw you
I
sent something out.
searched.
Called him
I
boss.
searched
You called
high
him
and low.
boss.
He was my boss. My checks had his fucking name on them.
Yeah.
He was my boss. He was unbelievable. He was such a maverick. Did you read the message from Jane Fonda to him?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. If there's anybody out there, I follow Jane Fonda. Of course you do, you fucking liberal. But I follow Jane Fonda, and she wrote. I don't want to ruin it. Just read it. Read Jane Fonda's Instagram to Ted, and it's just. But I can say the thing that touched me the most was that Ted came to her because Ted needed her. Like Ted needed Jane, and they had this synergy where she realized that he could protect and comfort, and they worked this thing out, and it was just one of the quotes she has is that while they were together, that Ted was the most competitive person that she had ever met, and he would say things like, "Let's see, Jane, if you can make love in as many countries as me and my last girlfriend did, or my last lady."
That's
Like,
a great bet. Everyone wins.
right?
Everyone
There's
wins.
no loser there. Even if you only get to 50% of the cities.
Ted was. I remember I read his autobiography and
Just,
came away with.
that's
a
the
lot of
one.
respect.
What's it called? Just like any other 7-foot black millionaire who lives next door. No, so I'm sorry. That's Chamberlain. My bad. We already covered that.
He might have had as much action as Wilt, but
More
very different
land.
book.
Definitely more land.
But you know, his when he started in the business, his family business was billboards. It was just billboards. And you think of what it became from billboards. And he started in the billboard business as a young man. And I do love stories like, I don't think Vince will ever do it, but I'd love the inside story on taking your dad's company. And everyone looks at WWE now. You don't even have to look at WWE now. Look at it from 83 when Vince took it, and it was still regional, and it was still local television from, Maine
WWF.
Right. Just down to Virginia, and that was it. And you had a few big arenas. You had the Spectrum, you had the
Garden.
the Garden, you had the Meadowlands in 1981. You had Boston Garden. You had what was the one in was it New Haven Coliseum? So you had some big houses, but they were doing.
I think that's
they were doing.
Lanza had Winnipeg. There was some cats that he worked with it. Yeah,
but he took that from 83, and in 85 they were on in every city on cable. And WrestleMania.
I got a question for you. So when you look, you look at Ted's legacy,
yeah,
and you say to yourself, if Ted Turner doesn't start the Superstation, and cable doesn't take off to the degree that it does, because cable lays into what? Cable lays into the paid television, the HBOs and all that, which leads into so. I'm just curious, as much as I love Ted, is without Ted Turner, do I get to watch the NBA without having 7 different streaming platforms?
It's a good question. When they were covering, I guess it was the Braves when the Braves were on
Superstation.
TV, the Superstation, right? And it was, and he was going all in, and it was a concept when people turned on their local TV, Channel 5, on the dial, right? And they got their team every week. Think of how monumentally disruptive it was to say, taking it off that and putting on this thing called cable. I mean, you took free TV away from everybody that watched your beloved Braves and whatever else was airing, and changed the whole model, and said, I think people in
But
California
I
would
mean,
love to watch my Braves.
and to have the concept of the half hour of news I get from Cronkite, or like, that's bullshit. I want 24 hours of news.
Absolutely correct. Gamble.
You
Talk about
know,
rolling the dice. You know how many people said,
Like,
Ted, no one's going to want to watch the news at 2 in the morning?
and what do you do when you're in a foreign country and you get in your room and you have no idea what's going on? Man, you look for that C and that N and that N. I mean, that's just not so much as as you used to.
But they're
But
syndicated. I'm saying syndicated. I don't know if that's the right term, but it is broken off into CNN Spain, CNN South America. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
and it's catered to that area. He was a brilliant guy. I so admired the risk taking. So much to learn. So many people can learn. Good way to go broke, too. If you're not as there's a lot of luck involved too. But
the only reason that he had financial problems was because he had everything in Turner, and then when Time Warner came along, all of that stock went into Time Warner, which made him I think the richest man in the world at that point, because the differential Time Warner was, I think Time Warner at one point went to 70, and then once again it went to AOL, and he didn't
yeah.
diversify everything, so he just never diversified. I wonder if Warren Buffett ever walked up to him and went, you could probably take half of that and put it in Berkshire, and it'd be a lot safer. But I
Imagine
remember
being
when
able
he
to
was,
get this. Good.
I just remember when he had, he made a statement where he was below $1 billion. I think he had $900 million at one point. I mean, that's like not including his land and all that, but like actual assets, he was below $1 billion. As far as like liquid, where you can get, you have to sell the land and everything else, but. And I don't know if at one point I know he was the largest landholder, I think, in the world, unless Putin gets fucking credit for owning all of Russia.
That's a big ass country over there.
Yeah. But,
So in honor of Ted, Kev, can we do a Mount Nashmore of entrepreneurs of the world? Can you find 4 of the Steve Jobses and Ted Turners and Buffett? There's a pretty good 3 right there. I don't want to
yeah,
give it to you, but
it'd be hard to. We would have to put Ted. Yeah, you'd have to have Jobs.
oh yeah, for sure.
I'd put Gates up there if I could punch him in the stomach. I'll put Gates.
That's a good 3 right there.
but it's really Gates Allen, but Gates was I guess he gets the. Why does he get all the credit?
Well, look at Jobs and Wozniak. Not many people talk about
Yeah,
Steve Wozniak, but
I guess it's whoever wears the black sweater first.
right.
So we'll go Jobs, Gates, Turner. I'm gonna go fucking Musk.
Okay. I was looking to see if VKM was going to make it up there.
But
Tough to knock those other ones out with.
yeah, hard to. I mean, it's I mean, VKM is huge, but Tony Khan's fucking another one.
See if he's got the staying power.
What's Tony's father's name?
That's a good question. Missed.
Shad?
Shahid.
Shahid? I mean, I think he's worth 15.
Steve mentioned Walt Disney. I think that'd be a valid one too for the entertainment world. But that's a good 4, man. That's a good 4. Steve's working on the graphic as we speak. All right, some questions from the audience. You have paid to be here, part of the 11 Soft Club. You can do that too if you go to kliqthisTV.com. Join us here. Join us for the tapings every week. Ask Kev some questions, and who's starting us off? T. Blair, hope you're enjoying time with family. Have you seen any clips from the new INFOWARS? Tim Heidecker does a great job at playing Alex Jones.
Have not watched. No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I saw Jones on TV with no shirt on one day. I think that scarred me for life. I don't know what that was all about.
I don't. How's the physique? I mean,
I wouldn't be pulling my shirt off if I looked like that.
All right. Very good. Thank you, T. Blair. Arthas Wrestling HOF. Do you think New Day made the right choice?
Absolutely. If they made their choice, I mean, but they both those guys have been there 16, 17 years.
Yeah. Thanks, Arthas.
It's a slap in the face. Both those
Edgar
guys are my
Watson.
friends.
Does less dates, less pay also equal or translate to higher event prices for fans?
Well, I don't say. So if you're looking at television production, I don't know. I have no idea what the cost, but let's just say ballpark. Back in the day, it was we could shoot a nitro for a half a million. Yeah, probably $500,000. The building that isn't going to go up. You know, the cost of the building's not going to go up.
Right.
If you're paying the talent less, you've got a 50% saving there. Now, I could only think that at that point, I think that at that point the ticket prices should go down, and if they can't work it out financially, maybe some of the higher ups could kick a little of their golden parachute back in, you know, help out the working man a little bit, because we all know how that always happens in America.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, it's always about Main Street, not Wall Street. So I mean, yeah, I could see probably a 50% with a 50%. It would only make sense, right? 50% pay cut to the guys. Tickets are 50% off.
We pass the savings on to the customer.
Yes, at the cost of the boys. Perfect.
Kev, you've got Cooper back there at home. I have Midge here, and we've talked in the past about finding the right stuff for our dogs. When you talk about allergies in dogs, it can be very confusing for people who are not in the know here. You see things like a lot of scratching, licking their paws a lot. That's what Midge was doing, shaking their head, even just generally slowing down. These are signs of allergies. We brush it off and say that's the dog being a dog. Not necessarily true, okay? If you're realizing some of this quirky dog behavior, might be something more going on. Because, just like us, dogs need good bacteria to strengthen their gut health, and allergies in dogs often start there, in the gut. So when things get out of balance internally, it can show up everywhere. Issues with the skin, ears, digestion, energy. So this is what led me and should lead you to BETTERWILD's Allergy Relief Soft Chews. It's like a treat. Make it special and give it to the pup. They're designed to support your pet's allergy defenses by strengthening digestion and helping restore balance from the inside. Okay, they're the first and only chews with ancestral advantage wolf probiotics and natural ingredients to proven to help reduce itching, support gut, immune, and skin health. Instead of just covering these things up, you're actually going to be supporting your dog right at the source. BETTERWILD is committed to helping your dogs with clinically proven veterinarian-approved solutions. So right now, BETTERWILD is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/Kliq, Kliq. You got to put in the Kliq love to get the discount. That's betterwild/Kliq, Kliq, for up to 40% off your order. betterwild.com/Kliq. Thank you, BetterWild. Who else is with us this week? Moose. Hey, Kev, who do you got winning the NBA championship?
Oh, it's going to be between, I'd say the Spurs, either Oklahoma City, the Spurs, or the Pistons. Those are my three. Of course, I want the Pistons, but not the Pistons match up better against OKC than they. No, but it's going to be either the Spurs or OKC because the bigs. Detroit doesn't have the bigs to match either of those two teams.
Okay. Here we go. Where's the money right now? Let's see. OKC, yeah. And then San Antonio right behind it at a plus 425. Oklahoma City, you'd be at a minus 165 for your $100.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they won. They won.
I
mean, they won last year. I mean, they're the team to beat. It's very hard for me to see somebody beating them in 7 games, except the Spurs. I think beat them 5 out of 6 games this year.
Interesting. All right, wrap us up, Britt. Happy 60th birthday to Owen Hart. What was it like being around him? I've never heard a bad word about Owen.
No, he was
a lot of ribs that drove
it's
people
it's
crazy.
it's amazing that I wish there was another term besides like 60th birthday because he didn't make a 60th birthday.
Right.
He would be 60. But I understand what you're saying because for me it's mind-boggling because I know that son of a bitch would still be Owen. He'd just have gray hair and he'd just be ripping the fuck out of people. It would be his grandkids at this point probably that would be the brunt of the ribs. But no, it's just there's a lot of people that give Brad a lot of shit about a lot of things. And there's a lot of people that give Ric Flair a lot of shit about a lot of things. And I've never lost my brother. So I don't know what Brett's going through, but I lost my son. I know Rick lost his son. And anytime I see something and it's negative about Rick, I always think, man, he lost his kid like not a get out of jail free card, but man, there's a lot of times I understand what just Rick feels.
It's a
That
pass
was,
for some stuff. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
but it's also, it's because I think Rick and Reed had the same relationship as me and T did. I think Reed was Rick's buddy, and he was his son. T was my buddy, and he was my son. And I know that Rick, every time Rick gave him a beer when he was underage, he wants to slit his wrist for it now the same way I want to. But for giving T beers when he was underage. But he always drank them he never drank them outside of the house. So, but no, it's just, I don't know. But seeing Owen being 60, that's, my son would this coming June would have been my son's 30th birthday.
30th, goddamn.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Well, thank you for
And
the
if
question.
if he was on any kind of a, if my son was on any kind of an allowance or any kind of a, some kind of a trust fund, I'd probably cut it at 50%. Boom. Kind of the thing to do.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast T, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2026, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, where do you want to do the next one from?
I don't know. I'm taking 50% of the show off.
Customer service never answers a thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Twists and turns you've come to love. Never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer